So, what are the benefits of registering the IP at the right time?
So IP is one mandatory aspect of business. It is as important as opening up a bank account, registering yourself with the income tax department, or taking a GST registration.
So, there are many kind of different IPs. One is a trademark, where we register the brand. Then there is whatever content we create, there is copywriting, copyright kind of registration. Then there is patents. If you have a process or if you have a invention, then you can patent it. So different professions or different sectors have different kind of IP protection, and I think everything should be done equally. What do you think?
Absolutely. Licensing is the best and the biggest opportunity for anybody who has created a brand.
Container of the product, also can be a IP. A very old liquor brand, if you remember, if you see the bottle, people recollect the brand. People put, after they use, they put some plant in it, or they use in, for decoration. But the shape of the bottle itself is a brand.
Yes.
Many packaging, products that we see, all the FMCG products, every shape of the container, the bottle or the vessel is owned by a company, and no other company can use. So even an empty container is branding for you. That is the power of registering the intellectual property. So how can this add value to valuation of a company?
Design can be protected, like you said. Packaging can be protected.
Yeah.
Shape of your product can be protected.
Yeah.
They can be registered.
Yeah.
That can be IP protected. All of these elements become very important. So technically what basically happens is, the more easily recognizable that you are, the more is the valuation.
Every entrepreneur runs a business to create assets, but the most ignored kind of asset is the intellectual property. The intellectual property that can be used as an asset in business is not focused, because when people start a business, they feel that this is not required for me right now, and maybe tomorrow I can do it when my business really becomes big. So what are the benefits of registering the IP at the right time?
So IP is one mandatory aspect of business. It is as important as opening up a bank account, registering yourself with the income tax department, or taking a GST registration. It is equally important, and it needs to be done simultaneously as and when you start your business. In fact, I would say that the first document that you should register is your IP.
Correct.
Because only if you have a trademark or a copyright of the content that you're going to deploy or work with, or a design protection that you have taken, or a patent that you want to apply for, if you get that done first, it is all the more better. Otherwise, it should not happen that the trademark company or the trademark name is different from what you're getting registered. So if you want to maintain that uniformity, you need to be proactive, and this should be beginning in the first. So the first step is create a trademark. So what people do today, like for example, I'm starting an online jewelry brand. So the first step is not blocking the designs or locking the designs. The first step is whether a particular brand name is available or not. So how do you do that is, you first book the domain name. Then you book all the social media handles. Then you book the trademark so that the brand gets protected. So that is the first process. Then I will create a company. I will open up a bank account, or before that I will have to get my income tax registration done. GST certification will be done, then the bank account will be opened, so on and so forth. The priority and the sequence should be, begin with protecting your IP. That should be the priority. Lots of people, they just begin the business. They get some name, they register it, they advertise it, they market it, they create customer experiences, they capture customer experiences, and when that goodwill needs to be protected, you suddenly realize that this name was taken. You're not getting that name. And then somebody who might be smaller than you would claim on you. It's reverse. So it's a bad shot. So you should always make sure that your IP is protected. And intellectual property is an intellectual process to be protected by the government. We all need to understand one thing. Government is always a third umpire. It wants to protect, or it wants to avoid confusions between two individuals or two organizations, or whatever the combination might be. So government is a third umpire, and for that, the government has laid processes and procedures to follow. If you do that, the government is on your side, because if somebody is misusing your IP, you can go to the court of law. But when you go to the court of law, the first thing that you have to establish is that you own the IP, or that trademark is yours, or that copyright is yours. Only then the process begins. The opposite party will contest, but then whoever is genuine and stronger and whoever has fulfilled all the compliances wins the game.
Correct.
So it's very important that you begin your company formation or business formation by registering your IP.
Correct. So there are many kind of different IPs. One is a trademark, where we register the brand. Then there is whatever content we create, there is copywriting, copyright kind of registration. Then there is patents. If you have a process or if you have a invention, then you can patent it. Also, there are license, that you can own, a brand and you can license it later. So different professions or different sectors have different kind of IP protection, and I think everything should be done equally. What do you think?
Absolutely. Licensing is the best and the biggest opportunity for anybody who has created a brand. Like, for example, a common example that we are all knowing about is Walt Disney.
Yeah.
So they license their characters, their cartoon characters, and they are trademarked and copyrighted across the world, irrespective of which country, what language, what religion, what creed, what background, nothing matters. They have protected it everywhere. Okay. Now what they can do is, once you become popular, see, popularity comes with a cost. Popularity, it means you are present in the minds of so many millions and billions of people that there is a emotion of trust, faith, recognition, positive experience, pride of ownership, etc., etc. So for that, they license that goodwill and brand name. When can you license? When will somebody want to buy your license? When there is an already established market and they would love to have that product. That is when somebody comes, buys the license and starts making revenues from day one, because it's not an unknown product. It's a product that the world knows about. So lots of people create brands. Obviously, one of the process of creating a brand is protecting the IP. So your trademark is protected, your content is copyrighted, your processes are patented. Processes are generally patented. Like, for example, I own a company called SDG 6. So we have come out with a paint which we have patented, because the process of making that paint is unique to our formula. So you can also patent the processes so that if anybody wants to use it, he can use it only with our permission.
Correct.
And that permission can come in various formats. I can either sell that formula to somebody, or I can lease it to somebody, license it to somebody, or I can have a royalty share on the sales revenue. There are multiple ways how I can structure it. So it all depends on how I structure it. But that's how I can enjoy revenues from intelligence that I would have created in the form of a process, or in the form of a brand, or in the form of a design, or in the form of some content. Like movies, the movies which are written are always copyrighted. And that's why you see sequels of movies, right? Like Drishyam 1, Drishyam 2, Drishyam 3 is coming, Drishyam 4 might come, 5 might come, James Bond. There are series. Now, the advantage is when you copyright your content, nobody else can use that name. Okay. And that name has already created a population base, a customer base.
Goodwill.
Like, for example, I also operate a company called Turning Red Media Studios. So we license a Turkish content called Kuma. So now by operating that content, the content was produced by my sister concern. 100 episodes of 45 minutes each, Turkish content.
Okay.
Now that content became so popular across the world that the handle that we created for Kuma now has millions of customers or subscribers who are already there. So when we launch Kuma 2, or when we will launch Kuma 2, that many minimum audience is already there on day one.
Correct.
So I have already crossed the journey to a great extent. Like, for example, if it is a 100-meter race, I've already run 80 meters. It's only 20 meters to win the race.
Okay.
So this value creation, what you call it, or I can call it, or anybody can call it, this value creation gives revenue speed. You don't have to start from zero. So that is the advantage, and that is the importance as well. So if you have these elements in place, it's an edge that you have. It's an advantage that you have that you need to leverage. Like, for example, my very close friend, Lina Asher, she started a very powerful brand called Billabong High and Kangaroo Kids. And one day she sold it to a big fund which invests into the education sector. But that realization was huge. So it was her idea, her brains, her methodology, her process of how to download that education to the teachers and from the teachers to the students. And she copyrighted and protected all of that so she could get a great valuation and a great exit. So we really need to understand all these kind of strategies and apply it to us so that when our brand grows well, other people will be interested in our brand. And if we are well protected, they will pay a premium for that protected brand and take it from you or share it with you or license from you or give you royalty or do 100 different combinations of business collaborations as much as possible.
Great. So you spoke about valuation. I think when a company is valued, they look at the sale of the company, the asset of the company, the acceptability, the quality, everything. But they also look how strong is the brand penetrated and is it really protected. So if I buy this brand, I can own the entire ownership of that intellectual property. And many times the valuation also increases because of the brand is registered. So when you invest in a business, what are the things that you check about a brand identity?
First and foremost, I check whether the brand name that I'm getting associated with, whether it is registered, whether it is trademarked, whether it is copyrighted, whether it is patented. The more number of protection covers available on that brand name or that company or that product, the more confident I will be to get into that. If it is not trademark registered or protected, I will not get into it till it is done by the previous guy. Only then as a strategic investor, I will move in, because the first step is how well protected is the brand or the process or the content or the whatever that is there involved with that business. Uniqueness has to be protected. Only then there is an opportunity to grow. So I'm a growth investor, and the first puncture could be if somebody claims on the trademark that you have invested for. That can be a first puncture. So I know a very popular perfume brand. I will not name it, but that popular perfume brand realized after becoming very popular that somebody else in another state of India has registered it under some form or the other, and then that became a very insecure situation. I'm sure they have tided over that, they paid some money and they bought the rights and stuff like that, but it became a bottleneck for them at one point of time, and by then they had already invested huge amounts of money in advertising, marketing, customer experiences, customer feedbacks, social media handles. A lot of investment had already gotten. Now, when your hand is under the stone, when you are held at a gunpoint, then the negotiation is weak on your side. So if you want to be always right, you should ensure that the processes of protecting your intellectual property begins much before you actually make the brand known and more powerful.
Correct.
So that is what I check with the first instance, and then I will get into how strong the product is, how good the market has been developed, what is the possibilities of further growth, what can be the revenue generation that can be multiplied, how I can add value to that brand. Because as a strategic investor, it is not only money that I invest in. I invest in my experience, my knowledge, my relationships, my ecosystem. I bring all of that to the table. So I really need to invest that with the right brand or the right product or the right company or the right entrepreneur. So this becomes a very inevitable part of my due diligence before investing into an entrepreneur or a brand name or a company.
Great. I think a very interesting observation is also people focus, registering the IP of a product or of a process, but the container of the product, also can be a IP. A very old liquor brand, if you remember, if you see the bottle, people recollect the brand. People put, after they use, they put some plant in it or they use in, for decoration. But the shape of the bottle itself is a brand.
Yes.
Many packaging, products that we see, all the FMCG products, every shape of the container, the bottle or the vessel is owned by a company and no other company can use. So even an empty container is branding for you. That is the power of registering the intellectual property. So how can this add value to valuation of a company, or maybe when you are doing some international merger acquisition, how does the valuation impact with the right intellectual property?
So design can be protected, like you said. Packaging can be protected.
Yeah.
Shape of your product can be protected.
Yeah.
They can be registered. That can be IP protected. All of these elements become very important. So technically, what basically happens is, the more easily recognizable that you are, the more is the valuation. If you have a secret formula, you have to protect that secret formula, so that also can be protected. Now, whenever you share an idea with somebody, people get a NDA signed that this is my proprietary idea. It cannot happen that today during conversation you are taking it from me to understand the concept, and tomorrow you are doing a business on my idea. You cannot do that. So people get NDA signed. If that NDA is not there, your idea can be stolen, can be copied, and you cannot do anything about it, because that guy will go and register it as his idea, and then he becomes the owner.
Correct.
So there is a big controversy related to Facebook also on how Facebook started.
Yeah.
Who started, whose idea was it? So idea also needs to get registered at the idea stage, and that's why people get NDAs signed. Shapes, even if I see a color, even if I see an outline, even if I see a shape of a particular concept or a product, I can recognize what it is. I don't need to read the content.
Correct.
Just by seeing the shape, I can know what this product is. That's the reason you will sometimes see on the roads, the car is fully covered and somebody is driving it.
Yeah.
So that is a new car getting launched, and they don't want the world to see the shape of the car.
It's camouflage.
So it is camouflaged. So that is the importance of what a copy can, how much a copy can damage your business prospects or your market prospects. So that is the reason they cover that car and move it around till it gets launched, because they have to test drive it, right?
Correct.
It also might be a marketing strategy that build the inquisitiveness in the minds of the people.
Right.
Recognition of a company or a trademark or a brand or a product or a service, the recognition creates valuation. The more number of people that recognize the concept, the more valuation gets added to that particular brand, because recognition creates markets. The day a particular product gets launched, like for example, for the first time when McDonald's got launched in India, I was in my college days. The queue was so long that somebody would feel that, they are giving it free of cost. And on the weekends, the crowd was so much bigger that you will think that even for eating the burger, McDonald's is paying you. That is the kind. So what is that? That is nothing but the visibility and the knowledge about your brand by the public. So the day it gets launched, zoom, it is over. Like government is a strong brand. It is reliable. It is trustworthy, right? So when Mahada launches a scheme of say 1,000 flats, 10 lakh people apply for those flats. 10 lakh people. So what is that? That is nothing but the brand of Mahada, the brand of the government.
Correct.
So when more people want something which is scarce in nature, that tells you how powerful that brand is. When a new movie is launched of a franchise, the tickets get sold. It is houseful. You don't get tickets for days together, weeks together, months together.
Correct.
That means that brand has got more takers than the supply. So the demand is much higher. That adds to the valuation of that concept, that idea, or that product, or that content, or whatever it is. So that's how, like James Bond, the day the movie is released, across the world in multiple languages, theaters are full. Like for example, when Apple launches its new phone, which they do every year in the month of September, and make us keep spending more and more and more, irrespective of only a marginal difference in the performance of the new model. What is that? They have established a brand in your mind and in your heart, that the day they launch it, we want it.
Correct.
So that is the value of a known IP, a known brand, a known product that people want it, and always the demand is more than the supply, and that is directly proportionate to your valuation. Now, if you see the valuation of a company like Apple, the value of that valuation is equal to the more than the valuation of many countries put together. Now, how is that possible? That is possible because the brand is so valuable.
Correct. Another very technical thing about IP is that many times we start a business in one sector, like you have a restaurant, but suppose tomorrow you want to also add food products, or you want to write a book, or you want to make a film, so the same brand can go into different verticals, and people actually think that I will think about this later. Like I have an institute, we take workshops, but if I'm to write a book, I should also have a publication brand registered. So different sectors, the brand should be registered. That means when you are launching a brand, you should have a vision of 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and what all areas we can actually grow or we can diversify. Those areas also need to be registered. What do you think about this?
Absolutely. So, for example, we operate Sante Spa Cuisine. They are restaurants, but we have also trademark registered Sante Healthy Nuts, Sante Hampers. So, the objective is nobody should leverage a name for some other activity so that you get the same goodwill and the same attention that X company or Y company has already created by investing a lot of money, efforts, and time. So, to protect that, like for example, in popular categories, everything will be blocked. You cannot use that name for any business. You cannot use that name for any business at all. The government machinery also helps you to do that. They give you the options to block all possible categories with that name. So that name cannot get misused. Like today, if you go to see a brand like Mercedes, they have come into construction. They'll come into jewelry also. They'll come into perfumes also. We don't know what else. It was a company known only for cars, 4-wheelers, 2-wheelers. They came into bicycles also. There is a Mercedes bicycle, then they are into cars. Now they are giving rights of buildings. So real estate also they are coming into it. They'll come into products. They'll come into chocolates. They might. I don't know whether they are there or not, but they might. So powerful brands protect their name in every single category on planet Earth. That much visionary they are, or they have the vision. So if you are an entrepreneur, you also need to do that. Size doesn't matter, because today we might be a small size company, but when a bigger size company comes to collaborate with us, they will make us 100 times bigger. And still we will be the owners, because we own the trademark, we own the copyrights, or we own the patents. That is how important it is. Like the Bose speakers, powerful brand. The world knows it, irrespective of which country you're in. The brand is clearly created, established. Every popular product, which is most of the times not available in the market, is a brand which has got less supply than the demand. Like for example, everybody today wants to buy a Rolex watch, and the watch is just not available. People are paying a premium for that. So just imagine when you create a scarcity that much, what is it? It is nothing but demand of that brand, that more number of people want to buy, but it is not available in the numbers that is required. They also might be doing it intentionally. We don't know that. They are probably creating scarcity in the market so that the demand goes higher. But that is true of even cars, even houses. Like for example, I gave you the example of MADA. 1,000 apartments and 10 lakh people applying, 5 lakhs people applying, 2 lakhs people applying. So it's a lottery system. So they have to take out a lottery. That is the power of the brand. So you really need to be aware, mindful, and conscious about the brand that you want to create. It can be copyrighted, it can be trademarked, it can be patented. It depends on your line of activity. There are a lot of intelligent people who are not interested in establishing a whole industry. You know what they do? They just create a process, patent it, and license it. So like I had a call a couple of days back from a company in Singapore. They have created a patent for water processing, for filtration of the water. And Singapore is one of the best countries in the world where water gets managed in a very beautiful way. The recycling process of the water. So they also have created a patent process, a process which is patented. So they want to license that patent to companies in India, which can help in water purification. It's a unique process. So there are people, and that company specializes only in patent creation. They are not into commercialization of the idea. They are into creation of that idea into a product, a process, or a content. And then they sell it. So that's another smart way of doing it. So if you're very high on intelligence and you like to keep creating and innovating and inventing new ideas, then you can just keep doing that, and you can keep licensing it or selling that idea. You can also sell it, you can license it, you can collaborate, you can have equity holding, you can have, there are 100 types of formulas that can be created. There are consultants who can help you to shape the transactions.
Yes, yes.
So uniqueness today in the world has a lot of respect and has a lot of demand. It is the idea that sells better before it gets converted into a product or a process.
Great. I think, if you have any more queries about IP registration or anything about intellectual property, please write in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you and answer your queries. If you like this content, please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, and be in touch with us. There are a lot of questions that you can ask, and at that point of time, I'm sure Mr. Vinit Bansode will answer it, and I will also add an answer to the same question. So if you want two people answering one question that you asked, go ahead and do that in the comments below. I work with and for Konark Cancer Foundation. It's a foundation which takes care of cancer patients. If you know anyone suffering with cancer, then we at Konark Cancer Foundation can connect the person with the right resources and facilities to ensure that the right time, right treatment reaches the patient. Whether it is connecting the resources or providing resources to the cancer patient, we do it all. It also includes support for accommodation in the city of Mumbai. We are associated and connected and networked with the right resources, the right doctors and the right hospitals. We can bring all of this on a table to you so that it is convenience for you. Whether it is guidance, whether it is medical support, or whether it is operating procedures, our team facilitates every activity required for the patient and the support required for the family. We also connect you to the right NGOs and donors to ensure that you also get financial support and aid to whatever extent possible to ensure that the treatment happens and the life is saved. If you know of anyone who is suffering with cancer, please connect with us. The details are mentioned in the content below. Konark Cancer Foundation is an NGO. It's a not-for-profit organization, and we have lots of volunteers which support this good deed. So get in touch with us and help us to save lives. You too can be a part of this movement. Konark Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much.